pretty good to me, but it's hard to see.
All right.
Thank you. Nice working.
Ansu, he's got one, so
Oh, he does have one.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said he did.
no, he's good. For those that are new, we usually begin at 9:30 with just sitting meditation. If we were inside, we'd do the morning bell chant right at 9:30, but we are avoiding chanting and singing in general because of concerns with the coronavirus. So we will just sit until 10 o'clock. Good morning. I can take that off. So we will begin this morning with the three refuges. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead you in those refuges, but we're going to stand up. And one thing that I don't know how well it will appear on the camera or not, but one thing that we've forgotten to do is to make bow towards the Buddha, towards the altar, and which is the whole reason we're taking refuge to begin with. So if everyone could please stand.
It says it's difficult to hear.
It says it's difficult to hear. It's all right. I will try to talk louder. It might be the wind. It's really quite gusty today, so we will do our best. For the Dharma talk, I will record it on my phone, so if it is too difficult to hear, we'll always have that option. Sounds good.
That says it's good.
All right. Hands together in Hapchang. Please repeat after me. I go for refuge to Buddha.
I go for refuge to Buddha.
My deeply awakened mind,
My deeply awakened mind,
the living source of understanding and compassion,
the living source of understanding and compassion,
which must be cultivated to be known fully.
which must be cultivated to be known fully.
I go for refuge to Dharma.
I go for refuge to Dharma.
The path of mindful living,
Path of mindful living,
leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment.
healing, joy, and enlightenment.
The way of peace,
The way of peace
which must be cultivated to be known fully.
must be cultivated to be known fully.
Right, and I'll turn and we'll make bow for the Dharma. I go for refuge to the Sangha,
I go for refuge to the Sangha,
the loving and supportive community of practice,
loving and supportive community of practice,
realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation,
realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation,
which must be cultivated to be known fully.
which must be cultivated to be known fully.
All right, please be seated. So I didn't do the rest of it. I think today I'm feeling rather simple, pared down. This past, let me start my Dharma talk here. This past weekend, we held a virtual peace camp, which I was involved in At least a couple of members of our Sangha also joined in. Normally at this time of year, we go for 5 days of camp out in Howell, Michigan. It's at Camp Talahi. We do swimming, we do crafts, we do meditation on the dock, on the edge of a lake. And we live in community together in tents, all making meals together and living together. So this year, because of the pandemic, we had to do things a little bit differently. And so we pulled together a virtual peace camp. We had Zoom meetings and recorded videos, recorded talks and crafts and all kinds of things like that, you know. And it was fun. It was really quite beautiful. You know, we still had time together as friends, but it wasn't quite the same. We really missed being out at the lake. Good morning.
One true God.
I appreciate his enthusiasm. Yesterday, I had the privilege to speak to my teacher, Haju Sunam, who had started Peace Camp 38 years ago in the backyard of the Ann Arbor Zen Buddhist Temple. And I believe she said there were maybe 4 parents, you know, 8 kids, something like that. And they just camped out in the backyard. And it's grown to well over 100 people, families of all ages. Speaking with Haju Sunam reminded me of the first time that I took the Intro to Meditation course at the Ann Arbor Zen Buddhist Temple. And she taught it. And Haju Sunam is a wonderful storyteller. So she told a story at that Intro to Meditation course. And I've only heard it the once. But I've been thinking about it a lot. And so I'd like to tell that story to you today. Because I've only heard it once, I'm not going to remember all the details. We tried to get her to tell the story yesterday when we spoke to her on the phone, but she wanted to talk about other things. So we did. So I apologize for probably not getting all of the details correct. You'll have to be subject to my imperfect memory and my improvisation. The story begins in China a long time ago, where there is a farmer. In order to support his family, he raises cabbages. He grows cabbages and he brings those cabbages to market to sell. And every day during the late summer, he sets up his cabbage stand at the marketplace to sell cabbages in order to support his family. On this particular day at the market, it is hot, It is sunny, not unlike today. And the man looks out as he's busy working, selling his cabbages. He notices a man standing in the middle of the marketplace. So someone he's never really paid much attention to before, never really noticed before. But he notices today that this man is standing in the middle of the marketplace on this hot, late summer day, and he is wearing a very large, rather heavy jacket, right? Quite warm for the season. And this man is standing there like this, perfectly still in the middle of the marketplace, gazing up at the sky with a very peaceful and contented expression on his face. It's quite a difference from the busyness of the marketplace to see this man. He's rather shabby in appearance. His clothes are patched and dirty. His hair is messy and unkempt. Most people would probably disregard him. And in fact, most people in the marketplace don't even notice he's there. But the cabbage farmer notices. And in particular, he notices the expression on his face. Unlike everyone else in the marketplace, peaceful and contented. So finally, his curiosity gets the better of him. So he walks up to the man and he says, "My friend, why, on such a hot day, why do you stand here out in the sun with such a heavy coat on?" And the man looks at him and he says, "I was trying to give the fleas a peaceful meal." "Excuse me, sir, you are being rude and endangering our Sangha."
Sorry.
Okay,
Apologize.
could you please move your car someplace else?
Thank you.
Thank you. So the cabbage farmer recognizes that this man has something that most people don't. He recognizes the wisdom and the compassion inherent in this man. And he says, please, master, may I call you master, please? Take me as your disciple." So the man agrees, and the cabbage farmer leaves his cabbage stand there in the marketplace and follows this man. And they go for a long journey, a long walk. And along the way, they stop at times and sit. And the master sits stock still like a statue in meditation. And the farmer looks at him and tries to do the same, and not really sure what he's doing, but figures, I'll just do what he does, I'll follow him. Finally, they reach a little place in the forest where they can see, the cabbage farmer can see that this must be where the man lives. It's really awful. It's very dirty. There's garbage everywhere. It's unkempt. It really looks like maybe a homeless camp or something. But he thinks he knows that this man must really know something. He must. And I want to learn what he has to offer. So the master instructs him, in the morning when we wake up, I want you to build a fire and set up this massive cauldron. Carry it to the river and bring it back. Build a fire. Fill the cauldron with water. Set it over the fire. And we will boil our rice and our vegetables and we will have a meal. And he tells him, this is how you should do it. It sets it up a particular way. So the cabbage farmer, he watches him set it up, thinks he's got it. So the next morning he does that. He goes to the river, carries this big, huge cauldron to the river, fills it up with water, carries the big, huge cauldron back to the campsite, builds the fire, sets it all up, puts the pot on. He's trying to clean things up and make it nice and neat. And the master wakes up, rolls over, looks at what he has done, and the man's sitting there, bowed, waiting to see, did he do it right? Did he do a good job? And the master shakes his head, kicks over the pot, and leaves. And the cabbage farmer doesn't see him for the rest of the day. But then he comes back and he thinks, oh, I did it wrong. There must be something I did wrong. I'll do even better. So the next morning, he makes sure that he cleans up the whole campsite. He makes sure it's all neat and tidy, and he carries the pot and he tries to go slowly and mindfully, not to spill a drop. He sets the fire very carefully so as not to waste any of the firewood. He's careful not to spill a grain of rice. And when it's ready, he waits, hands in hapchang, head bowed for the master to wake up. Master wakes up, looks at what he's done, shakes his head, and kicks over the pot. So again, this happens again and again. The cabbage farmer tries. Oh, what did I do wrong? Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. One day he decides, maybe I'm doing this completely wrong. Maybe he doesn't want me to set up the pot. So he just leaves everything there and sleeps in for the day. But still the master shakes his head, disappointment written all over his face. Finally, it has been 8 days. 8 days the cabbage farmer has been setting up the pot, setting up the cauldron, trying to do what he thinks the master wants him to do. And he thinks to himself, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? Maybe this man is not who I thought he was. Maybe he's just some guy. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. I should go back to just being a cabbage farmer. Should go back to my cabbage stand. I'm not going to learn any wisdom here. So he gives up. He decides, that's it. I'm done. I'm going home. Forget this guy. Forget this cauldron. I'm done. But even though he's done in his heart, and he knows that he's leaving, he decides he's going to set up that cauldron just one last time. He does, much the same way that he did the previous 8 days. For the 9th time, he carries that heavy cauldron down to the river. He fills it up with water. He carries it all the way back to the campsite. He sets up the fire. He starts the fire. He begins preparations for the meal. And by the time it's ready, the master rolls over, wakes up, and here is the cabbage farmer standing in Haptung with his head bowed for the last time. The master looks at the cauldron, looks at the man, and bows. He got it right. What did he get right? The man who set up the cauldron for the 9th time. That became his name. And he goes on to become a great master in his own right. So I ask you, what did he do right? Would you like to try, Paiso?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, first 8 times he set up the cauldron, he was pursuing appearances and enlightenment. But the 9th time that he did it, he didn't do it for any of that stuff. He did it just, it was a selfless act.
So I'll try to repeat what you said for the benefit of those at home. He said the first 8 times he set up the cauldron, he was doing it for appearances.
He was pursuing appearances and enlightenment.
He was pursuing appearances and enlightenment.
The
Time was just a selfless act.
It's best guess for
If you're right or not. What do you think? Pete says, how many times do we have to ask you? When I was asking Haju Sunim to maybe tell me the story so I could get some of the details, she wouldn't tell it. No, I want to hear about you, is what she said. But not before. The importance is in all the details because you always get something different out of it. So she told me how important the details were and then wouldn't tell me the details. So do you see that? I had a butterfly just fly right in front of me. I hope it got up. So, as far as announcements go, we in 2 weeks we'll be doing an intro to meditation course. It will be on, all the details are on the website, on the calendar. Will also be in the newsletter. I hope that all of you are signed up for the newsletter so that you can get this information. We have no real plans set up yet for being inside the temple. We are still waiting for guidelines from the state and the county for how to be safe. I have the numbers, the most recent numbers that I pulled off of the website for COVID-19. In Kent County, there's been 6,769 cases confirmed and 153 deaths. So that's pretty good for Kent County. In the state of Michigan, it has been 86,889 confirmed cases, and of those, 6,250 deaths. In the United States, 4,920,369 cases and 160,220 deaths. And worldwide, we are up to 15,014,348. And 489,000, say that again, 489,456 deaths. So we are still in the midst of a worldwide pandemic, and a lot has changed, and a lot will continue to be different. So do your part. Do your part in making a difficult time a little less difficult for others. Yeah. Let's stand and we'll close with the closing gathas. So repeat after me. For all unskillful action, ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benediction. I wear the Buddha's teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. all beings one body.
All beings one body.
I vow to liberate.
I vow to liberate.
Endless blind passion.
Endless blind passion.
I vow to uproot.
I vow to uproot.
Dharma gates without number.
Dharma gates without number.
I vow to penetrate.
I vow to penetrate.
The great way of Buddha.
The great way of Buddha.
I vow to attain.
I vow to attain.
One moment at a time. Thank you all for being here today. Please remember to wear your masks when communicating with others and being in close proximity. Thank you.
So, do you know if there's going to be the refuge recovery meetings or what's going on with that?
Yes. Yeah, refuge recovery meetings are still going on. We have them so a lot of them are actually located all around. Oh, really? So the schedule is
This is the last
Monday.